From PC3 Radio, it's Turf and Truck. We're going to break down the summary of everything fantasy football.
Like, he went from 16 points per game and 990 yards rushing and 549 in receiving too. But during the season, he's just been a disappointment to my
If I'm being
opinion.
honest, I could see him going somewhere. I feel like he's more of a starting back than doing a mix. I don't think they're going to do kind of like a Detroit style where they have two very good backs that they split time with. And Bucky Irvin's taking the light, man. He's young. He's really good. They might pick up another dude in free agency and trade him out. I don't know about his – I'm not really familiar with his contract, but I could see him going somewhere for a nice dollar.
Yeah. But right from the start, you were like, dude, Rachaad White's going to be the running back one for the Buccaneers. You were thinking that from the season.
Last year, yeah. That's
And
the same thing.
I picked him up early in the rounds, like probably 5th round. That's pretty early for a running back too. And it's just – It's sad just seeing someone get their spot taken by someone that's first season in NFL. You don't really see that.
I'm a waivers guy. What can I say? Bucky Irving picked him up. I'm amazing. But anyways, hey, auto draft picks me up 8 running backs, and I don't have him. I'm pretty happy about that. But I mean,
but still, going from a 16 fantasy point season into now going to 12.5 fantasy point season, he basically just got outworked, and it's just not something we need right now. So I want to talk about getting him out of here again, and we're going to bring up Travis Etienne. And he looked promising coming off of last season. From the Jags, he averaged 16.6 fantasy points. And, I mean, I feel like he is a bigger bust than Christian McCaffrey this season because he played all games.
I mean, Christian was hurt the whole time. When he came back, he wasn't that effective. You have a good point there. But I don't know. I feel like next year, I mean, Jacksonville is bad. I mean, when we did our research, when we went for the Jets and all that, I mean, we saw they were bad.
Okay.
Worst defenses, all that. I mean, offenses, what they got.
You're right about that. But he played 15 games this season. And guess how many rushing yards he had?
How much? Tell me.
558 rushing yards. That is just
how many touchdowns?
Terrible as a running.
Do you have touchdowns at least or no?
I think he actually.
I don't know. We have to look at that.
He only had 8.7 fantasy points average.
Yeah,
I would tell you that. He's not even on the top 100 leaderboard.
Not that many touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, though. I mean, he was another big running back coming up. I mean, I thought he was going to be solid. But, I mean, their team was really bad.
Yeah. At this point, I wouldn't call him a running back anymore because he's just plain awful.
Another analogy you use, though, I mean, you say Christian McCaffrey. It reminds me, I feel like he could do something like Christian McCaffrey did on the Panthers. Like, they had no team, bad. Christian McCaffrey's put up 22 points every game. I mean, he didn't do that, though. I mean, they're a bad team, but it's rough.
You got a fair point with that. But another person that I have been incredibly just sad and disappointed from, and it's just been Travis Kelce. what can I say? Like, he just needs to retire. He's too old for this league.
That whole team, I don't even know how they're in the playoffs right now. I'm still just flabbergasted how they. I mean, their defense is killer. I'm not gonna lie. When your offense can, I think they average like, I don't even think they average that many points, but their defense is solid.
We usually be picking this guy, Travis Kelce, so high in the draft because, I mean, Patrick Mahomes and him are basically like Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you told me him and Kittle wouldn't be still like first round picks, and we're taking, I mean, Trey McBride. I mean, what happened 2 years ago? I mean, we're changing.
Like, it's honestly sad knowing that Juan Jennings is getting more fantasy points than Travis Kelce, and I mean,
hey,
Travis Kelce,
don't diss Juan Jennings. Juan Jennings is gas.
But he is a wide receiver 3. But he did pop. He popped off this season. But I mean, he's just Travis Kelce is just plain awful. He is by far had his lowest seasons. I actually saw it. He had his lowest seasons in everything. In receiving yards, he had 823, which is his lowest, and 3 touchdowns of the season. 3 touchdowns. Can you believe that?
I can't. But what I can believe is that we are going to cut to break, and we will be back in 1 second.
Welcome back from the break, and now we're going to get into it with our sleepers in the fantasy football. I want to bring up a guy that I know Braden is just in love with, Geno Smith. Come on, man. You got to talk about him. Geno Smith, you're in love with that guy, that tight end from Miami.
Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith. I said it wrong.
Geno.
Yeah.
I was like, Geno.
Not Geno Smith.
I love Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith is my fantasy team. I might have to name him my fantasy team next year, and then I have to take him. No, he's great. I mean, he's the biggest. I mean, Trey McBride kind of carried. Not gonna lie,
he's a big waiver pick.
No one thought. I picked him up waivers, both my leagues actually, and he's killed it. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. He's the guy. He's the red zone guy for them. I mean, Miami's a real brick to brick team right now. They got really nothing. They're just picking up scraps on the ground, but I mean, he's their red zone guy. They get within 20. John is gonna target. It's promising. I don't know what to say.
I just got to say, this guy came from nowhere. Guess how many seasons he's been in the NFL, and I just did not know who he was.
Oh, I know. He's been in there for 8.
Yeah, he got it right. Hey.
Boom. There we go.
Hey, he got it right on point. I mean, it's just like the same situation as last season with Puka Nacua. We're like, oh, this guy's just insane, and we just pick him off of waivers, and like, it's such a steal. This guy is just like that. He is a steal. As one of the top 3 tight ends coming out of the year. And actually, he finished the year with 884 receiving yards and like 8 touchdowns receiving. So that's pretty good.
More than ETN. I'm rushing.
Yeah, more than ETN. Let's not talk about ETN because he made me so sad. But since we were talking about Rachaad White earlier, how about Bucky Irving? He has had an amazing year as a rookie.
That's what I mean. Bucky Irving's promising. What can I say? Young, that dude's fast, dude. I mean, watching him play, I'm like, just watching. I'm just like, I feel like I need to run, sitting on the couch. Like I feel like I need to do something active.
I know he's a receiving and a running quarterback. I feel like he has a little DeAndre Swift in him. You know what I'm saying? Like he got that.
Little Mahomey action. What are we talking about?
Okay, come on. He hits the outside edge and just goes and runs out for the touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. He is really good. He's carried that team. I mean, White hasn't really done that much. I mean, they gave him everything. I think they trust him with the team. Him and Baker, two guys that we didn't think nothing of kind of coming up. I mean, with
Baker.
Godwin coming out too, they made a playoff. I mean, off topic though, Buccaneers. I props to them. I mean, Godwin out, still making the playoffs. That's crazy. All right, I'll let you go.
Yeah. I want to bring up another player too. You probably know him, wide receivers from the Seahawks. Seahawks. Yeah.
Oh, Jackson Smith.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett ahead of him, and you just didn't expect a guy coming off like he had a mid-season, but you just did not expect a guy coming and beating DK Metcalf out of his spot.
So I have an opinion on that actually.
Yeah.
So my number one is Tyler Lockett's washed. I mean, I'm convinced he's washed. I mean, watching him play, I mean, he used to be the guy. I'm not gonna lie. I played Madden 21 yesterday, and he was the guy. But now, and even DK had a really off season, but he really took a lot of charge in that. I mean, I didn't think he would even really play that much getting drafted, but
yeah,
he's taking a lot of charge. And with Lockett getting old, I think he's taken what they're giving him leadership really good, actually.
I mean, it's good they're bringing in a younger core, and it's just like Jackson Smith Najuga. I think I'm saying it right because he got a big last name, but he's just been a great player this season. Unexpected. You don't really pick a guy coming off like not as great of a season, not getting as many targets as he should.
My bad.
Oh, no, you can go.
Especially like with the season before they draft him. I mean, they had a great like wide receiver. Like, I mean, they were doing good too, and they still picked him up, and he's formed into that team. I mean, I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. Even after his rookie contract, they'll definitely re-sign him. He's taken a lot of leadership, I'm guessing, in that locker room. I think he's a great guy for them to have.
I think he got put in the right system.
For sure.
I believe that too because like he had many veterans. Like Tyler Lockett is probably the best guy you can be partnered with, and for him to have that experience and learning that knowledge in the NFL, I feel like it really gained for him, and this season really showed it for him because he was putting up like really high numbers. He was receiving yards. He was pulling out 1,130, and then 6 touchdowns. But those receiving yards really do count. Touchdowns does add up for fantasy points, but those receiving yards were insanely good.
Yeah.
But honestly, let's talk about Chase Brown. I really liked him this season.
I didn't like him. He beat me in fantasy. But no, he was really good. He was really good this year. I mean, I did not think he was anything until I went against him in fantasy, and he put up 34 on my forehead, and I was mad. But, no, I did not know who that was. If I'm going to be honest, before I saw him, my buddy had him. He was putting up crazy numbers. I was like, who is this guy? Saw a Bengals game. He's fast, really fast. He's kind of like a Bucky Irving, but that dude's speed.
That is such a steal from the Bengals. He was starting off as a RB2 from the start of the season, and then somehow you just see this guy. He's running fast.
Do you know who he overtook? Who do they have?
They picked up someone from a different team like during the offseason, during the trade.
I'm getting this info.
You gotta get the info, but I can keep talking about Chase Brown because he just had an amazing season. I mean, both on the rushing and the receiving yards. I mean, he had Joe Burrow behind him. Joe Burrow is probably one of the best quarterbacks you can talk. And who was ahead of him?
Remember the Bears had this guy, Khalil Herbert?
Yeah.
That's who it was.
Cleo Herbert? Yeah, I like Cleo Herbert, but
he's good.
I thought, if you hear Cleo Herbert, you probably think he's better than Chase Brown. But Chase Brown is so much better.
Too locked. That was a lock moment right there.
Yeah, that was locked. I mean, he averaged 16 points average per game, Chase Brown, and that is just phenomenal coming out. He's a waiver guy. You would never expect it. Just like how Bucky Irving was. Those two running backs just really exploded this year, and that's what we really needed into the fantasy.
I got one. If I would have got the other, maybe I would have won. But at least I didn't have to do fantasy punishments. Could have been worse, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about – I mean, you hate the Jags, but let's bring about who's been successful in the Jags. Brian Thomas Jr. He's been a sleeper, man. I thought. I mean,
has.
Malik Neighbors is better than him, but he's in the Giants' core, so it's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of a bad situation for him. But Brian Thomas Jr. has Trevor Lawrence, and he's a good quarterback. And actually, in December, Brian Thomas Jr. was Offensive Rookie of the Month, beating out Jaden Daniel.
Jaden Daniels, yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
I mean, that's just impressive because Jaden Daniels having an
He's
amazing
having an
season,
amazing
and
year.
just beating him out one of the months is just an impressive defeat.
Yeah, task to even do. I mean, that Washington team, I thought they were going to be good like 2 or 3 years ago, and they were absolute dookie. But now, I mean, that defense is crazy. They're growing in as a team. I think what they didn't have before was a team like morale. They brought in some more guys. They have the guys. They have the weapons. I mean, Brian Robinson completely screwed my fantasy because Austin Eckler wants to be Jesus in the red zone, but with both of them though, I mean, that's a great combo. They got option. Scary Terry.
Yes.
Shout out Scary Terry. He's a dog.
Oh my God, he is such a dog.
Jay Daniels, dog. I mean, they got guys. That whole defense, man. I mean,
Cheering for Commanders.
they've been trading them away. I mean, got Bobby Wagner. I mean, they're definitely trying to go for a run. I mean, gotta give them props.
We know who not going for a run, Jags.
Not for a couple years at least.
Oh yeah, the rebuild already
I
started.
mean, they got to trade 5 first. I mean, they got to trade all their team to get like 5 first-round
Just
offensive
trade the
linemen.
whole defense.
I
Come
mean,
on.
We got to like pick up some offense. Maybe we pick up another wide receiver. I mean, I can't even name another wide receiver on that team.
I feel like their defense was the most iffiest part about Jags. I mean, the defense is probably ranked the last, I believe. I think they're ranked 31st, right?
Oh yeah, cornerbacks. Remember, we looked 32. I mean, come on, dude.
Come on, man. You just
We're picking up Chubbs.
yeah. I mean, might as well just never pick their defense ever because you're just gonna get negative points every
Yeah,
time.
now you're getting slaughtered. I think they scored like a total. I think they had negative points. If I'm being honest, like the total like fantasy, I think they had negative points.
At least you know for sure that Brian Thomas Jr. is legit. So next year, I would probably pick him like top 3 rounds because he's just gonna be one of the best
He's
players.
there top 3. I mean, he might be top 2.
Yeah, he was top 3 this month. No, not top 3 at the end of the year with receiving. And I mean, being in line with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase is just impressive. Like, how are you supposed to go against that? And we're about to go into the break, guys, and we're gonna bring up next is honorable mention. So
Tune
we'll
in
see
back.
Yeah, tune in later.
Yep.
What up, guys? We are just coming back from the break, and you know what? We're going to bring up honorable mention because I want to mention this guy because it's Jerry Jeudy, guys. Talk about
Jerry
him.
Jeudy. I mean, ever since I think it was Stephen Smith Sr. that said that. He was talking smack about Jerry Jeudy. What did Jerry Jeudy do? He went on fire in fantasy. What can I say? I picked him up.
All right.
Picked him up. Waivers again. I'm a waivers guy. I pick all the. I don't even look it up. I just see like that dude looks good and pick him up. But Jerry Jeudy popped off. I gotta thank him for my later wins in the season because I didn't even know he was that good. But I love Jerry Jeudy. What do you think about him?
Yeah, that guy, you just did not expect it coming out of the Browns. He got traded for a 3rd-round pick, right?
Nah, chump change. They gave him. They gave him.
They
chump
gave him
change.
like 7th round or something. I don't know.
I can look it up.
They gave him a booty trade because I mean he just wasn't successful with the Broncos, and I mean Sean Payton did him dirty, but guess what? He became better than both of them. So I mean Jerry Jeudy, he had one of the most memorable games of the season for fantasy, and I think it was one of the most insane stats I've ever seen. It will go down in history because, I mean, he had 3 different type of quarterbacks, and yet he's still putting up high elite numbers.
Hey, I got it. It was basically, it was about a nickel and a dime. That's maybe the nickel could go down to a penny, but they gave a 5th and a 6th round for him.
I mean, for a wide receiver, he should never be.
I don't even think his contract's as high. I mean, I don't know.
His contract's gonna be higher in the future because
For sure.
this dude is absolute gem for the Browns.
Hey, pull him out. He's
It's just like Myles Garrett on defense. They only have one good player.
for sure.
And putting up these stats, he had 1,229 receiving yards with 3 different quarterbacks. Can you believe that?
I mean, I want to look up his last. I mean, his last he couldn't even have half that. I think he was putting up 500 in last.
He's still averaging 14 points a game. No, not 14 points a game. He's still averaging 14 points average for fantasy football. But now, guys, we're going to have to break it up into the next segment.
We love
with
Jerry Jeudy.
the champions. So we'll see you after the break, guys. You guys are just coming after the break, and we are coming with the champions. We are calling these guys the good boys of fantasy, and I mean,
You gotta have him.
gotta have them. I just want to point out my favorite. I had him, and he absolutely was destroying it this season. Jamar Chase.
I mean, it's a given. I mean, Justin Jefferson, you thought he was going to be all this, all that. I was about to trade my whole team for him at one point, and I was like, nah, I trust. But then Jamar Chase came up and said, I'm the number 1 receiver, and you're not, and that's how we got here.
Okay, I mean, I still think Justin Jefferson is better than him, but stat-wise, Jamar Chase is better than him.
No way.
Come on, man.
No way.
We
You see the Rams lock him up? That was strap. That was boom, boom, boom. Seat belt.
Who made it to the playoffs and who didn't?
Just saying. See, well, I mean, their team was really
yeah,
bad.
that's what-
I mean, their team.
Okay, it was their defense.
Really bad.
But Bengals are not bad. They had they
You can name their players when you watch their game. Their defense sucked.
yeah, their defense sucks. But they still had the number 1 sack leader, Henderson.
Woo! Woo! That was awesome. No clapping. I'm snapping now. But yeah, their defense was really bad. I mean,
Come on, man. They still had the stat.
how many games did they win?
They had a season record of 9-8, I believe. But I mean, let's go off of that. I can debate whether Jamar Chase and Jefferson is better.
They did make the playoffs. Actually,
Who?
they did. They went against the Bills and got smoked.
Okay. I mean, it's just.
I know. I'm looking at Why am I looking at the Broncos? Jerry Jeudy. I'm telling you, the Jerry Jeudy curse is still here.
What do you mean?
We
We are not talking about the Broncos.
He's in here somewhere. He's in here somewhere. I'm telling you, Jerry Jeudy's.
How is Jerry Jeudy in here? Okay,
Because he
that is
made my
nothing a
foot
part of
with
this.
the
Okay, fine. We're switching the subject to Jamar Chase and how amazing he is. I mean, he really is the fantasy point leader and wide receiver. He actually is. He won the Triple Crown for wide receiver too. He had the most receptions and most yards and I believe most touchdowns received.
He's a dog.
Yes, but still, I think Justin Jefferson is better. But let's go into before you argue with me. Let's go into Saquon Barkley. I mean, he is just a beast. He hurdled over someone backwards.
I mean,
he hurdled over someone backwards.
I'm not gonna be like the second best like sports group, like the one that just happened before. But I'm gonna say it was an amazing play. No one's ever seen that before. Props. That was amazing. I didn't see it live because I actually do stuff. Sadly, I wish I could watch it. I'm a fantasy wizard. What can I say? But I saw it on replays and ESPN for like the next 4 days, and every time I watched it was lovely.
Yeah, I mean, this guy. I wish he would have went for the record. He would have broken it. He had 2,005 rushing yards at the end of the season. I mean, with the Eagles line, he is just going to succeed. I mean, with the Giants, he didn't. I mean, he got injuries because the line sucked. So with this change, with him going to this different team, I feel like this is the biggest like promising thing you'll see in fantasy.
Okay, you got to be honest with me. I'm a Packers fan. That Eagles game killed me. But there was one part of that game that I looked at, and I actually wanted Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown on the last play. That's horrible to think that I am a Packers fan and I think that. But honestly, to fall down when you have no one in front of you, it takes a lot of like team camaraderie, trusting, like wanting to win. I love that. But that killed me inside low-key because, I mean, he had that in the bag. He had that touchdown.
Saquon Barkley is the team. Let's just say that. He is the Eagles. He is just the Eagles. He could take the quarterback position and still win the game. I mean,
maybe a little Wildcat.
Hey, man, come on.
Pull a little Giants out there. I'm telling you, he's literally the Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey on the Panthers is Saquon on the Giants.
But let's talk about the heart and soul of NFL and who's going to be the biggest guy coming up. Jahmyr Gibbs. He's going to be the biggest guy coming up. I mean, coming off just being like, it's just like,
nope.
What do they call them? They call them Sonic and Knuckles. I mean,
yeah. But where's Knuckles at? Knuckles is not there, sadly, because Knuckles got hit.
But we talking about Sonic.
Yeah. Well, Sonic is pretty solid.
But he's amazing.
Both of them are amazing. But when one breaks off, the other one has to carry all the work. Which this is a fantasy podcast. So, in fantasy, Jahmyr Gibbs is amazing.
He can do it on both sides.
On to the playoffs. It's not going to happen for him.
He's going to be amazing on the playoffs. What are you talking about?
Dude, I'm telling you.
You want to truck everyone.
When you have not even split reps, because he would take more reps than Montgomery anyways. But when you have that, where you have to take every rep, I don't know who their backup is. But when you have to take every rep, I'm telling you, it's going to tax them. It difference their play style. That crazy Ben Johnson, throw the ball over there and pitch it here and somehow get a touchdown. I don't even know. But I'm telling you, it's going to change the way they play in the playoffs.
We're not talking about players. We're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs right here. And Jahmyr Gibbs is a absolute dog. I don't know what you're talking about.
He is a dog. You're saying Knuckles. Knuckles, Montgomery.
We're not talking about
Montgomery. They carry together.
You're just bringing up random people.
What do you mean? Montgomery is the number 2 back.
Oh, my goodness. We are talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy. He's been that guy.
He is that guy.
Receiving, rushing, everything. And, okay, now, before I get too far ahead of myself, I don't want to talk too much about him and complain. And let's bring about Lamar Jackson because he is the fantasy point leader of the year. That's give him the crown.
We can't argue about. Yeah, Lamar, honestly, maybe argue a little about Josh Allen, but I'm going to stay on track. Lamar's amazing.
That's my MVP right there. Let's talk about that. I mean, he was just leading in every stat. I mean, his interceptions should have been interceptions. If you watch those plays, they should have never been interceptions. Those were the wide receivers' fault.
What can I say? He's the best running back in the league.
He's not running back. He can pass, too.
I'm joking. He's really good.
Fine. I'll bring up the stat to you. I mean, he passed for 4,172 yards.
How many rushing yards?
Rushing yards, you got to look. Oh, wait, 915-yard running. That's insane.
Almost double ETN. That's crazy.
ETN can't even pass either, so he should just leave the league. I mean,
he just had a bad year, dude. You gotta give him some credit.
Come on, man.
It's the Jaguars. You can't hate on someone on the Jaguars.
Lamar Jackson is 3 teams combined. Let's just say that.
I mean,
he is 3 teams
you
behind.
can't say all that because of Derrick Henry.
Okay, but
I mean, Derrick Henry is kind of that guy, and Lamar's kind of that guy. When you have 2 guys that are that guy, it just creates a crazy team.
No.
What do you mean, no?
No, I meant right. You're right.
That's a non-arguable. Derrick Henry is Jesus, and then you got second Jesus right next to him that both can run faster than each other. They're both fast, and one can throw, and the other one weighs like 300 pounds and can truck people.
Come on,
They'll
man.
run 20 miles per hour. Doesn't make sense.
That is true. But still, though, I mean, Lamar Jackson is the MVP. I don't think Josh Allen should even be close to his level. Lamar Jackson is going to carry the Ravens throughout the whole playoffs. But one thing I want to bring about is, I mean, I kind of sad the Falcons didn't make it, but I like Bijan Robinson this season. That's been the guy. I mean, coming out, we knew he was going to be that star player for the Falcons, and with him having two different quarterbacks just flipping around, he's actually been very successful on running and receiving. Do you want any input upon that?
I mean, I agree completely. They had some guy on their team. It was like Aguilar. I'm gonna look it up.
Isn't that the tight end?
No. They had another. That's Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is God. But anyways, though.
Kyle Pitts is trash. I mean, we always pick him high, and he's always like, I want to suck one game and then be good next.
He's been for like 2 or 3 years. What are we talking about?
God.
But anyways, though, back on to Bijan. I love him. He's amazing. 22 points per game. Why I had him. When you see on your team where you have a guy that can average 24 every single game, what can I complain about? He's awesome.
Yeah, you can't complain about that. That is just lucky fantasy draft right there. I mean, it's not lucky. Everyone wants to pick him up first round because he's just so good. I mean, he is that guy. I mean, I almost picked him over. Honestly, people picked him over Saquon Barkley from the start of the season.
I got the guy.
What'd you get?
Tyler Aguilera or whatever.
Okay, no one knows who that is.
He would switch running back in that. I mean, don't they have Cordero Patterson too? I thought they did. I mean, well, hey, to be honest, Bijan's that guy, but right after this break, we'll get back to you with that info. Welcome back, guys. I know that was a quick break, and we are still here, and hopefully you are too. Anyways, so I thought Cordero Patterson would get the rock more. He didn't. That concludes our Falcon lore. Anyways, I'm passing to Noah now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he was talking about anyways, but
This guy.
But let's bring about the next head coach for the Bears because there's just a roster for them, and I want to bring about first one, Pete Carroll, former Seahawks head coach. What do you think about him? Do you think he should be the next Bears head coach?
Honestly, I feel like he's a great option. Do I think he's the best option? No. But I do think he's a promising option, and the Bears are just trash. Honestly, Packers fan, they're trash. I'm biased. But anyways, they have a lot of potential, though.
Yeah, he's better than Mike McCarthy. I swear, if they pick up Mike McCarthy,
that's what I'm saying. Why would you pick up a coach the Packers ditched out, which Packers are your number one rival, especially in division, and he had the Cowboys. The Cowboys are supposed to be a crazy team. They sucked. I mean, I think Mike McCarthy might be their dumbest pickup if they do get him.
They might because Bears are just dumb. I mean, they just make the
no
worst
way.
decisions they could be because through the past few seasons they just let Matt Eberflus just destroy the team.
When you put in Bear Logic, I can't even talk. Jesus. When you put in Bear Logic, if you pick the Packers ex-coach, maybe you'll beat the Packers. Hopefully the Bears do not do that. I really hope they don't, even just for competitive reasons. I think Pete Carroll would be a better option than him, 100%.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's like Greg Popovich of the NFL. He is so old. He is so old. I mean, he looks young. I mean, not going to lie. No, because have you seen those videos where he's, actually throwing a football? Dude, he's old, but dude, he can still walk a little.
He's so gray. He's so gray. He looks like a dark sky. It's just, makes me sad when I see him because he used to be younger.
But I feel like the best pickup the Bears could get is Ben Johnson. I feel like he'll be such a great guy because our defense is really solid. It's just our offense scheme is just very negative. And with Caleb Williams needing some guidance, I feel like Ben Johnson could give him that guidance to succeed because he is an offensive guy. And, he's going to help out the offense a ton. And this is just
I'm going to not completely disagree with you because he would be my number 2. Actually, Pete Carroll and Ben Johnson go like 1 or 2. I mean, 2 or 3. I don't really care. Mike Verbal, I'm telling you, I think he could be that guy. He's got the mindset the Bears need to change. The Bears have a let's hopefully go positive this year mindset. I feel like he has the mindset. He hasn't really done that much. He hasn't really had the team, though. Tennessee's been really bad. I mean, but I do feel like he will be the best option for them if they do continue to go. Ben Johnson, I mean, the Lions got to give him a check. I mean, he's literally the guy that makes the Lions go.
I mean, that's true.
We can say Jahmyr Gibbs. We can say, I mean, I don't want to say Jared Goff, but Jared Goff's pretty solid. Amon-Ra, I mean, we can say all those guys. He's the guy. He's the mastermind behind it. He's the guy. If the Bears do get him, I don't think they put him a head coach. I think they keep him at offensive coordinator. But if the Bears could pick him and then get a head coach, that'd be a whole different story. But for head coach, I don't think Ben Johnson would be the guy. I see Mike Verbal. Pete Carroll, maybe.
Yeah, you know who else they actually interviewed? They actually interviewed Ron Rivera. Remember the guy from the Commanders and
right, yeah, he was
Panthers?
Yeah.
I mean, he's
No way.
But still, he has a good stat line. I don't know.
Didn't he coach for the Ravens? Or am I like seeing
No,
stuff?
he only coached for the Commanders and Panthers.
I'm seeing stuff then.
He was during that Cam Newton prime era. Remember that?
Yeah, well, it's Cam Newton. He was kind of like Superman.
Yeah, for 1 year.
1 year. I mean, the Panthers haven't seen that much success in ever with Steve Smith. But anyways, I'm going to hit on your point. I hope they did not pick that guy up. I mean, Commanders, like I said, I thought the Commanders had so much potential back like when he was coaching like a couple years ago. They didn't do anything with it. I think he'll do the same thing with the Bears. I mean, the Bears have potential. They have guys. They have dudes. But I don't see anything. He does reunite with Montez Sweat though. So I mean, that could be cool.
I mean, this guy did have 2-time Coach of the Year. I mean, but he's getting old now, and now his strategies aren't working with the new era. And ever since then, from his 2-time Coach of the Year, since 2017, he has no winning seasons.
Were they back to back, or what years were they?
What do you mean?
Like his Coach of the Year. It was definitely with Cam Newton.
I probably back to back with the Panthers when he had Cam Newton and all those great, amazing players. They just had a very well-developed team.
Versatile,
and chemistry. That was it. That was a time to be alive because that was probably the best team you'll probably see. And I mean, they're also interviewing the Thomas Brown, the intern coach from the intern that the Bears had during the season. I mean, this guy, he's just a nobody. I'm sorry.
I mean, they interview randos. Like, I don't understand why you would pick up some random dudes. Like, at least go for like a college coach that did somewhat decent. I mean, we're interviewing bad NFL coaches who had better teams than the Bears. How does it make any sense to interview?
But he had experience coaching this team, and he's actually had he's a young person, and maybe he has a young mindset, but I don't think he should be a coach now. I think he still be the offensive coordinator. He went from offensive coordinator he was promoted to offensive coordinator, and then when Matt Eberflus was fired, then he was promoted to intern head coach. And I mean, he has knowledge for football. I mean, with the QB Williams, it seems like they like him, but I don't think they're going to be successful with him. As you can see during the season, they just kept losing, but they did beat the Packers at the end of the season, which I was very happy about.
Gimmick.
What?
Anyway, it was a gimmick.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Jordan Love was out. Anyways.
Malik Willis is still good.
He's a backup.
Yeah, but he still got you 3 wins in the season.
Yes, because Jordan Love doesn't wants to get hurt all the time.
Maybe Malik Willis is better than Jordan Love.
Okay, now you're shut. But anyways, I think the Bears, for the Bears out of everything, I said it already, but I think someone with actual wins, someone who's successful, because they always put the blame on the coach. It's always, and if you have a guy that's got a losing record, if you got a guy that's not done really anything in his coaching career, I feel like you need someone that's a pretty good coach that is like, you can't put the blame on him. You got to put the blame on the players. You got to put the blame on that. It's always, Eberflus did this. Fire him.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, Matt Nagy did this. Fire him. Like, it's, which, don't get me wrong, they suck. But, I mean, you gotta put a blame on someone else besides your coach. I mean, I think the biggest thing for the Bears is who they pick up. And if they do pick up someone good, they could be a really great team, I think.
I mean, I'm a Bears fan. I think they have a tons of talent. It's just not being used well. And, I mean, they just need an offensive type guy coming in as a head coach.
They are young.
And they are a young team, which they need a young coach because I feel like it will add more of a better.
What are we talking about right now?
Ben Johnson's the perfect guy. That's what I'm just going to say.
Age similarity? Why would you want age similarity? Like similarity. I can't even speak, dude.
They have a different strategy and viewpoint to it.
You need a winning coach. That's all it takes. You need someone that's successful, someone that's not. You can't put the blame on.
But we don't need the defensive coach. That's the thing.
You're picking an offensive coordinator to be the head coach.
That's perfect. Our offense has been really low for past decade, and it's just never been solid, and that's why we need to go into a new change and go after an offensive coordinator. Offensive head coach is probably the best choice for the Bears. And, I mean, sadly right now, but we won't get to talk about our last segment with Nicholas Harris because our Super Bowl predictions are cutting short. But I want to still talk about the Super Bowl predictions still and bring up my last. Well, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Bills Mafia. Let's ride.
Yeah, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be Ravens versus the Lions at the end of the thing. I feel like Ravens will win.
If the Bills win the Super Bowl and I am healthy, I will go through a table. I will do a Bills Mafia jump into a table.
Yeah, I think Ravens are absolutely going to booty whoop the Bills.
I don't like that opinion, but that's enough for another debate.
Yep. We're coming off of Turf and Truck, and I am Noah Sena, and this is Braden Olson. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.